Okay, guys, last Friday at 8 p.m. Eastern, Christmas on Call, starring Sarah Canning. You guys remember her from Holiday Road, and Sir Darius Blaine. Okay, so I'm going to tell you this. I always find Sarah Canning to be super awkward. Even in Holiday Road last year, I thought that was such a good movie. But I still thought she had no chemistry with Warren Christie. And like, who the hell doesn't have chemistry with Warren Christie? He's one of those OGs that's like still hot, like Victor Webster. And so like, she's just awkward. So one of the biggest complaints I saw under the Hallmarky comments for Christmas on Call was basically that the two leads didn't have any chemistry. Well, baby, I don't think it's Sir Darius, okay? All of that hunk of a man, I don't think it's Sir Darius. I just think Sarah is awkward, and maybe doing love scenes for her is just not easy. Because this is the second movie I'm seeing with her, and I'm like, they like dial it up, dial some emotion. And then I think Sir Darius, I think he had a lot of emotions. So when you mix it with her bland emotion, it's like, eh. So I really didn't think they had chemistry, but once again, that's how I really feel about Sarah Canning. She's a lovely actress, but just very awkward, and I'm not sure why. Okay. Now, I had a hard time finding a picture of the two of them that wasn't just like a video. Hallmark really chooses what they advertise hard and what they don't. When they don't really care about a movie, they'll show you some video clips both on their Instagram and their Facebook page, but they're not going to show you a bunch of like pictures of the two leads. It's not going to get this like great, see, this is like an awkward freaking picture, but this is like the best picture I could find of the two of them in this frame, okay? Where they're looking head on instead of just like facing each other. So anyway, clearly Hallmark didn't care nothing about this, but it was on at 8 p.m. Eastern on Friday, and it is a nod to all the first responders who work during the holidays. From the police officers to the ER doctors to the EMTs to the firefighters, for that reason, this storyline really deserved like a 6 out of 10, but because what first responders do during the Christmas season or during the holidays or all year round is so super important, I'm going to give this movie a 7 out of 10 and say, yeah, tune into it. It's worth it. And some people said that a movie about first responders has no business on the regular Hallmark channel. Baby, over on Hallmark Mystery, they be covering death and dying 24/7 with Nikki DeLoach in like 98% of those movies, okay? They even had the one with Lacey, where I think her sister and her sister's husband dies in an accident, and she got to take over her sister's kids. That's over on the Hallmark channel. So, baby, yes, there are times that even the Hallmark channel deals with more serious topics during Christmas. I don't see anything in this movie that doesn't say Christmas. And if you have an issue with it, you really should think to yourself, what if you or one of your loved ones has a medical emergency during the holidays, okay? You are going to be grateful that people like this in real life exist, and they're giving up their holidays with their family and their friends to assist you. Okay, so I would like y'all to be a little bit more caring about that. All right, let me get into the premise. Hannah moves to Philly, and because she got a job as an ER doctor. So far, she's digging Philly, but she hasn't seen much except for the emergency room. Enters Wes. Wes is bringing someone into the ER because he's an EMT, and it turns out also a firefighter. He's dropping off bodies at the ER, and him and Hannah are making googly eyes at each other. And so he finally figures out she hasn't seen Philly. So his whole goal in this entire movie is to show her more of Philly, more of his heart, and he does have a big heart. Now, let me tell you something. I went to the great Pennsylvania University. I went to Penn State for undergrad. And, at Penn State, there's always like a big Philly and Pittsburgh rivalry from the PA people. For the Jersey people, we don't care because we don't get down with none of y'all. But what I will say is I knew at least 2 of these true Philly men that Wes is portraying, where they have achieved amazing things in their life and all they want to do is build up the Philadelphia community. This type of person does exist. I have met 2 of them. Probably should have seriously considered dating them. But I'm Jersey. I don't want to spend the rest of my life in Philly. No disrespect to Philly, but it's just, I'm a Jersey girl. That's all I'm going to say. So this type of man exists. There's a lot more in Philadelphia than you will see in your average community. People who are born and raised in Philly are invested in Philly being a great place. So this kind of man where he does everything for his community and his whole life is about service, I have met 2 that I can think off the top of my head. And shout out to them wherever they are. I know one of them for sure is definitely building up Philadelphia from the Rudy to the Tootie, okay? So it was good to see this kind of character portrayed. You can see Wes going into his community. He's doing different charity drives. He's helping out kids. A little boy, he's one of the boys, he's about to go off to college. His mom is going to be alone for the first time, going to be an empty nester. And Wes and his friends decide to go on by and decorate their home. So this last Christmas that they have together before he goes away is going to be special. Hannah is immediately taken by Wes, but in some other characters. We meet Wes's cousin, Danielle, who's a police officer, and her partner is Sanjay. He was just, switched over to her precinct just to fill in for someone who is on paternity leave, I think it is. And so now they're partners. Well, we find out that Danielle and Sanjay went out like last Christmas or last New Year's, and neither one of them contacted the other one. They thought each one ghosted them. Now, the 2 cops had a lot of chemistry. The characters of Sanjay and Danielle, we would love to see them back because they had a lot of chemistry and they kept us laughing. Anyway, so we see that they really realized they have feelings for each other and it was just like a misunderstanding. He was texting the wrong number. She thinks he's got a girlfriend, but it turns out that's his sister. And, we see the 2 cops really fall for each other. So you've got the EMTs, you've got the ER doctors, you've got the cops, and now we find out that Wes is also a firefighter. So we go and we meet the fire chief, and he's got family obligations, and all of this stuff is going on, but he also has obligations to his community to make sure everybody is safe for the holidays. This movie did a great job of displaying how difficult it is for first responders. Every time they get a moment for love and family, they get beeped because there's some sort of emergency. Now, at the end, there is a scene where there is a fire on Christmas Day. The fire chief goes in with his gear, and somehow he must have gotten hurt and he fell down. Wes just goes in with his EMT stuff and was like, I got to get the chief out. He gets him out. Now, some first responders, like real life first responders, were complaining and saying this is not realistic. The opposite should have been true. Someone going in there without their gear and someone going in with their gear to save them. Baby, it is Hallmark's Christmas magic. Run with it, okay? It's going to give you a teensy wince of realism, but on the flip side, we don't watch Hallmark for the realism, okay? I am waiting for the prince that was promised for my life, and I haven't met him yet. Where's my king, okay? Where's my king that Hallmark promised me? Hallmark promised me that I would go to a small town, because I am a big city girl. I would go to a small town, bump into my ex-boyfriend again. I can't even think of an ex I would take back. It's just not realistic, but it's Hallmark, babe. Run with it. Anyway, I'm giving Christmas on Call a 7 out of 10. Like I said, not the best storyline. There are some awkward moments, but the message of the people, ER doctors, EMTs, cops, firefighters, that are actually out there for those that are out there for the greater good of the community, that message deserves to be shared, especially around Christmas time. All right, shout out to Sarah and Sir Darius. Can't wait to see what you guys do next. All right, I got to move on to the next review. I didn't think I was going to take that long on this one. I could barely find the freaking picture. All right, it's KJM, and I'm out.